Hi, Sathvik. Thank you so much for making the time out to speak to me today. How are you doing?
I'm doing very good, Teresh. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, and I'm glad that you could make the time. So, for our listeners, can you set a little context? Can you tell us a little about your background, how you got into Web3?
Okay. So I did my MBA from Melbourne University in 2008 and 2009. So just after that, I got into a partnership firm with my brother where I was offering consulting services for scripting in a virtual world called Second Life. And actually, the way we get paid in that virtual world is through a closed loop currency called Indian dollars. And that's about 250 Indian dollars is $1 American. So I used to work there as a consultant, creating, scripting various objects and such. And the way we have to get back that money to India was to use PayPal. That was the only option available. Who used to take about 3.9% as transaction fees and another 3% as conversion fees. So losing 7% of money for about 4 years or so. That those things added up quite a lot. And then I was looking at a better alternatives of how these kind of transactions should be happening. And that made me stumble upon Bitcoin in 2012. So then I got into that rabbit hole of learning everything about it because I come from a technical background and also from business background. So I really wanted to know like how it works without anyone in between. Then happened to go to a meetup. That is where I met my co-founder Sunny, who is now my co-founder. So there we tried various things about Bitcoin, not only just educating others about it, but also things like physical Bitcoin and try to do some mining as well. And then one of the projects, yes, that we tried, which continue to stand today is Unocoin. So the reason why we started Unocoin was at that point of time when the meetups was happening every single weekend. Uh, there was no platform 2012 13 so to buy Bitcoin while people were showing enthusiasm, and as there was no platform for where to buy that, people were just bringing some cash and hoping that someone else will be coming for the meetup. They'll be able to swap and such. We felt it's not a right way of doing it, and people in India, all across India, will need a secure and simple way of buying Bitcoin. So eventually that led us to exploring the business opportunity and starting Unocoin in 2013 December. So now we have completed about 12 years. I mean, it's actually running the 12th year already. So in that way, Unocoin is the first Bitcoin exchange for India and continues to work.
Right. Yeah, I do remember that, you guys have been around from the very beginning. There was you've been around since the time there was this little controversy around Bitcoin ATMs. I think
Mhm.
Unocoin was slightly involved in that. I think it was such a great innovation, but obviously, our policymakers don't understand it. So you guys have been trying to be big proponents, in the crypto space, and I think I tip my hat to you for doing that because I'm sure this has not been a very easy journey to chart simply because, like I said, because the policymakers create like a lot of obstacles. So can you tell me a little about the challenging aspects of creating a Bitcoin, one of the first Bitcoin exchanges of India, when there was no clarity around rules and regulations.
Yeah, I think it has to be broken down into different years. So in different years, we have faced different challenges.
Yeah,
I should say
true.
between 2013 to 2000, I mean, 2013 2016, I think it was lack of education of people itself. It was so tough for us to explain what is Bitcoin for someone totally new. So it was just getting discounted, saying it's some kind of scam or MLM scheme and such things. Only very few could understand it. The policymakers could not understand as well. Media was not in favor of us also. So it's that people are not understanding, but because they don't know anything, they cannot draw a parallel about Bitcoin to something else that they know. They were just saying it's more looks like some kind of lottery ticket casino scam and
Right.
such things. So
It
that
was it was seen as that get quick rich sort of a scheme, right? And everybody is a little
that
skeptical of
way,
that.
even today, it is seen that way.
Yeah.
At
Yeah,
least
that perception
people
has
know.
not changed.
At
Yeah.
least people know, okay, there is something called Bitcoin. It works in this manner, and then it has. I mean, people can make money or lose money out of it as an investment. But at that time, no one even really like very few cared. Very, very few care. And others, yes, they felt like, okay, I can make some money because the prices is going up and such. But the mass was very, very less. So in the first few years of our business, I think 2017 is the first year where it started dragging a lot of media attention because the price of Bitcoin was also in similarly, right? So it went up from $16 on January 1st all the way up to I think to 1,000. Oh, sorry, I'm talking about 2017, right? So it went up from almost $1,000 all the way up to $90,000. So as the price of Bitcoin increased in 2017, we actually saw more and more interest among people as well and media, etc. as well. So similar kind of trend has happened in 2013. So where it had gone up from around $16 to 1,000. Right. So essentially it will come down to, where people are talking, then media want to have some articles about it and grab some attention. Else it is, I mean, when for people to talk, they should be making some kind of money and they should be losing some kind of money. Some investment should be there. So something related to finance should be happening. It looked like that. So between 2013 and 2017, there were about four different notices from Reserve Bank of India to the public saying that yes, we know something like cryptocurrency and Bitcoin or Dogecoin, those things exist. And it is risky because it is like volatile, so it involves financial risk. And security risk because you could lose it. So do it. Anyone who is doing it is doing it at your own risk. Okay, so there's a kind of warning. Four times it's rewarded, pretty much same warning. So in 2018 February, so they come up with a stance that they don't want their regulated entities, which are like banks and financial institutions,
Hmm.
not to provide accounts or services to the Bitcoin exchanges like Unocoin and or to their customers. Okay, so this made it, and they just gave a deadline of like 3 months to end up all those kind of relationships, and which made it super tricky for the business like ours because now we cannot operate without bank account, and there are so many customers who have actually put money in Bitcoin, and for them to even withdraw the I mean, sell it and withdraw the money to their bank account. Our bank account was not getting supported, right? We tried doing putting some fighting against it in High Court in India. I mean, High Court in Bangalore, and it was going in a very slow manner on one side, and on the other side, the Supreme Court also had one case, and they said, okay, let us just instead of making this to be heard in every state high court, let's just bring all of the cases together. So all of that got piled up in Supreme Court as one single case. Okay, so and on the other side, because of that is not conclusive, it's just like a case, it has to take its time, right? So and we came up with the idea that okay, look, the issue is people are not able to pay money to buy Bitcoin and take money, which was actually provided by the banks, and now the banking accounts does not exist, banking services does not exist. So we came up with the idea that okay, whatever banks do, like how to take money and disperse money, how they use an ATM, we can do the same thing, right? So then we went to a ATM machine manufacturer, got the software and those things modified to work with our servers directly, and then we started testing it to saying that okay, now there is a cash limit of 20,000 rupees per month per person. Fine, whatever it is, it's not zero at least. Let's start accepting up to 20,000 rupees in cash per month per customer, and also disperse it. And anyway, these customers are KYC verified already, so that should not be a challenge. So this was the idea, and we got the ATM. We began testing. Everything started working good. So that is when it started instantly grabbing a lot of attention that now we have a
Right.
Bitcoin ATM in India. I mean, that was the first time. It was absolutely not common, and people have never seen an ATM which is not operated by a bank at all, right? So, and just some media started calling, okay, this is like a money laundering machine, that thing, this thing, and people are not at all able to understand. Like all it is trying to do is accept the instead of making one human to sit and accept money and give out money
Right.
because banking cannot do whatever we wanted what to do. We are just using a machine to just keep it like automated mechanism, and no, the noise was so much about it that our message could not get through at all to anyone, including media. So that made one of the officers provoked. And he started believing that these particular ATMs actually are there to hack the banking network. So he came up with that kind of some weird explanation of what is going on with some kind of cyber security background that he has of why it should not be done, and it is the same bank ATMs that we are using as a hardware and such. And then he detained my other co-founder Harish, saying that no, whatever you're doing, you should not be doing. So there is no reason for them to detain, and there is whatever we are doing was absolutely within the limits of what can be done, what cannot be done.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so then happens they but after one day, even they will ask me to come to the station and detain me for another day as well. And then we had to file a quash against that FIR that they raised. So then that actually gets quashed in High Court in Bangalore itself, saying that whatever we try to do is correct. I mean, at least it's not illegal. So on the other side, because this ATM story went in a track which like we cannot actually install more ATMs because the High Court had not squashed the case about these ATMs yet. So our only way to survive was to continue the case in Supreme Court. That was against the Reserve Bank of India already, and to get the verdict in our favor. So eventually, yeah, that happened March 2020. So then all of us, I mean, by then, apart from us, there is other three, four competitors slowly doing few little things like crypto swaps and the crypto to crypto exchange transactions and such things. So all of them pivoted to the normal INR crypto exchange as a business, and we got access to the bank accounts on the same day, and we got the verdict. So then was a little challenge of the COVID lockdown. So we got this verdict on 4th of March, but I think by 7th of March or so was the lockdown. So and we had lost about 80% of our team strength already by the I mean, as we continue to wait for Supreme Court verdict, we could not keep spending that much of money to maintain the entire team. So now we had to just like all of us back at home, locked in the lockdown, and are trying to hire people and get them back to work, which was comparatively challenging. But yeah, again, out of all the challenges, this was not the biggest one. So then we were able to raise another round of investment as well. So in 2014, we raised our first round. Then it was 16, which was led by Bloom Ventures in India itself. And in
Right.
2020, we got the money from Tim Draper Associates. So we continue to use that and continue to build the business even today. But yes, the challenges now are even more different. It's like the taxation. There is no 100% clarity about the GST of how things are applicable. And TDS, there are some loopholes of whatever rules they have written, and it is still confusing. It is not very clear on how these things should be done. And then there is an income taxation issue where they have given the 30% as the straightforward tax, irrespective of the slabs of people, and not even treating it like a long-term or short-term capital gains and such. And there are new sections for it. So yes, so this is where we stand today. It is, I mean, than the fight that we will have to, or we are going undergoing here. What makes us more sad is that because these frictions does not exist in foreign countries like developed countries like US, they are able to go much faster ahead. And for the same thing to happen in India, we have to struggle through so much. It's just like a little
Yeah.
unfair. But yeah, in India is India, whatever it is, yeah, it is here now.
Yeah, it's such as life, Silavi. I think when if you're building in India, it comes with its own set of challenges. Like
Yeah.
you mentioned, like in 2015, RBI, I think almost it was like an overnight order that had come in,
Mm.
and I was also running an Ethereum exchange at that point. It was one of the first Ethereum exchanges of India called Ethics. So we had to actually whittle down and eventually shut the exchange because we could not really function without a bank, providing us with services because it was not a P2P exchange. How did you survive that particular period?
Yeah, I mean, like obviously we could not do banking. There was some transaction
Hmm.
happening through crypto to crypto.
Right.
We actually had bank accounts just to pay the salaries,
Hmm.
utility bills, but not for serving our customers. So that was the challenge. We had to actually go sack down in two rounds, lose about 80% of our of our employee count already, and we had to still keep our head high, hopes high that things will get sorted because our lawyers, everyone was so convinced that whatever the notice given by Reserve Bank of India is not correct, no matter how they see it. So but now the challenge was how soon can we get the verdict? I mean,
Yeah.
if it had taken one more year, then it would have been a very different story for us as well. It just came at right time where we could take the U-turn and get business back on track.
Yeah, those were really hard times, I think. Yeah, definitely. But, as I said, more props to you guys for being able to sail through that and sail through all of these. unnecessary at times. I think the obstacles that are created by policymakers,
Hmm.
who, it is very ironical that we talk so much about innovation and make in India and ease of doing business. I have not faced, ease of doing business in all of these years that I've been doing business in India. I think just because the bureaucracy kind of makes it a little hard. And again, perhaps it's not their fault because there's no policy or there is no framework. But there is a lot of red tapeism, I think.
Yeah, see, it's whatever limited rules, policies, regulations that we have in India, it is not like a very comprehensive completely. For example, if we talk about the TDS that is applicable whenever people exit crypto,
Yeah.
but
Or
that
even
not,
GST, right? It's
yeah.
not clear right now. I would imagine.
Yeah, yeah. So, and then if you just think about the GST, I mean the TDS. So there are some ways people are happy while doing the futures and options trading, where the GST as of now is not actually applicable because you are not really selling the crypto, you are selling the contract holding the crypto. So, to what extent it is true? Yes, but it just means that it was not considered, right? So, I mean, while the rules were all written, but now, for when it comes to the business and survival, yes, those things still wherever they can get some volumes and make money to make the companies continue to run and provide services, they still do it. But the challenge is, how long can you sail in this kind of tough against the stream, right? So you have to keep on swimming, 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 and a few other companies have done it for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, but for us it is almost 12 years.
Yeah.
So that is what the little challenge is, and
Hmm.
we actually have very good examples of how things have progressed in developed countries. I think it is just time for our government as well to see this more closely and at least see whichever is more applicable for India and get it going. But on the other side, for government, crypto is not the biggest challenge, right? I mean, it's not the biggest concern. They have more bigger concerns. So, but as an industry, it's like we just need to make sure that it'll continue to survive and strive and to grow to some extent where wow and be alive when things become better for each firm and for someone to reap the benefits of whatever hard work they have put in. So it is just coming down to that now.
Yeah, I think you're right there. So, like you mentioned, you've been around for a while. So, what is the kind of changes that you have seen in the perspective, not just of users as well as perhaps policymakers? So, this question has two parts. Can you tell me a little about that?
Yeah, when it comes to users, definitely a lot of changes. At least users are nowadays asking right questions as compared to how things used to be before. So they don't see it as just like the gambling or money making opportunity. They want to know about what they are buying, why they are buying. I think all of this happening because since last 2 to 3 years, we have not seen all attention being just captured by the prices of fluctuation prices. It's comparatively been not. I mean, if you see the equity markets and mutual funds and commodities as well, so even that is undergoing a lot of volatility. So they're just comparing this volatility with that, and kind of it's like matching up a little bit. So they're more now bothered about like why it exists and what was wrong in the previous systems and what is crypto and Bitcoin trying to fake and such things. So it's like a little bit more educationally. People have definitely evolved. They understand there is something called centralization, decentralized, and now they can see there is something called fiat money and crypto money. Because before there is so less number of people who knew what is fiat money. There is something called fiat money. They just know it's rupees. That's all. Like why it is called fiat, when no one bothered about it. And when it comes to inflation, people just took it for granted. So now some questions definitely are there of like why it's happening in a way. So when it comes to policymakers, here as well, we actually see a lot of changes. So at one point of time, whatever like crypto doing something in Bitcoin or crypto, it was actually looked like a crime. But now they understand that that is a industry by itself, and there are multiple players, multiple genuine players who are properly done doing the business, paying their taxes and whatnot. And it is just like one another industry and the commodity being crypto. So, and when it comes to the taxations or when it comes to inquiry against some kind of criminal activity that is using crypto and all such. So there are times when we get invited or experts get invited to just help them through and get it sorted out and such. So this definitely it has become better. But for the speed at which crypto industry evolves, this speed is insufficient, right? So we are already lagging, and every year we lag more and more because and it is just a comparative lagging, right? So because of how the things have evolved in developed countries, the gap is only increasing. I would say, but again, India is whatever it is, but it is at least going in the right direction. It has not stopped, it has not stalled. So it is going in right direction. Just that the speed at which it should catch up is little challenging.
Yeah, it does seem to be going in a direction. Like, I think it's a little unfair of the government to create taxation when there is no framework. But like you keep saying, it is what it is when you're building in India. So this just makes it sound, it makes crypto in India sound very bleak. And I think maybe that is the status because a lot of people have moved out and, started working out of Dubai or Singapore and many other places. But tell me, why did you not do that? Why did you not choose to, say, move out of the country? Why are you still building in India while sitting here, even though the country does make it hard for you to keep building in this space?
Yeah, I think we feel India is our country. I think that's all.
Yeah.
To some extent, there is some patriotism and such, and whatever we have is given by the country and support of the country and that. So, and on the other side, if all crypto players just moves out of the country, then you will actually not have crypto in India.
Hmm.
That is what it is. And if we are facing the challenges since 2013, there is nothing new, brand new that we are facing right now. So
Hmm.
in tough times as well, we have just made sure that the industry continue to survive, and it is there for people when they want it. Just that it has not matched the industry standards or the number of customers, all the volume of
Hmm.
developed country. But it should be there. It should continue to strive. And on the other side, India is such a actually very very massive opportunity. Just that we don't know when it properly opens up, I guess. So it's just about hoping that it sorts out. So
Yeah, it's like Shrodha's cat. You don't know whether it's going to go in the right direction or not, but you're hoping that the cat is alive and well while you're here building. So I agree with you there. I understand that if everybody kind of moves out, then what will happen? And India it is a huge market for consumer related products and growth. So I get where you're coming from. Now, to perhaps brighter subjects, let's talk a little about the team and team behind Unocoin. Can you tell me a little about them? Then we can talk a little more about the product itself.
Yeah, so when we started, I mean, because of my previous business of consulting, I had a small set of developers with me in 2012. So that helped me to put up the first mocks of how Unocoin, our website, should all be. And obviously, for everyone, something like Bitcoin is like super duper new. No one heard of it, no one know about it, and obviously, internet did not have as much information at all. So comparatively, a very steep learning curve. But after that, I think even though the commodity is crypto, the part of the platform which is very specific to crypto is very small, right? So rest is all how do you handle the KYC, how do you handle the Indian rupees coming into the system and the withdrawals doing it and helping users to edit their profiles and such and making sure the platform is secure. So those are all like comparatively normal things for any fintech company. So the real part is like how do you make sure that the deposits coming in crypto and going out and exchange when it happens, then how it gets swapped. So only that part will be comparatively or newer and such. So we did not face that super duper challenges with employees. Somehow we were able to get what we wanted at various times. Again, nothing like superstars because they actually nowadays maybe they exist, but definitely not till 2017, 18. Not during our first 5 years of journey. But we were able to put together the teams to take care of whatever we need to do. We have always been very conservative, I would say, in every approach that we try to do, making sure that the maximum possible or all the required laws are none of them is like violated and such. So, but yes, there are absence of some laws, and whatever it is whatever it is. So just make sure you're not not doing anything like a mistake because the law properly does not exist yet till
Hmm.
you get to that, right? So that's how things has been, and our investors, or I should say, even our consultants and lawyers have been like super duper helpful in navigating this space when we are just like doing it for the first time. So yes, so and we have some of the very very loyal employees who was there with my previous place itself. So they essentially are like 12, 13 years experienced with me. I mean, in the team itself, in the company itself, right now. So they continue to grow. And then when it comes to the team in a crypto company, the trustworthiness actually have a lot of value because one small mistake could actually cause a lot of risk. So in that way, we need a very trustworthy people to make sure that you're just doing things in the right direction, keep making going and
Yeah.
such. So yes, so that I think yeah, we presently have about 50 of us, 50,
Okay.
and we're providing the services, whatever we do.
Okay, awesome. So tell me, what is next for Unocoin? What is something that is really exciting for you guys? What is the team working on?
See, we are actually in general excited about the country and its opportunities, and
Right,
we knowing what crypto industry by itself is and how very suitable it is for a country like India. Just that it's yet to wake up properly, right? So it's a good English speaking country, and then we have very good internet penetration. Then we have very good smartphone penetration, and people come from that kind of investing mentality background, not like living from check to check or living on credit. So that is not the normal way Indians would actually like lead their living, etc. Right? So and definitely a lot of gold lovers in the country. So and the new generations are comparing Bitcoin and crypto to be digital gold. So and so it's essentially with the digital push that we already have. And the transactions fees from various say credit card companies and such things, and when it comes to remittances as well. So there's a lot of transaction fees and delays associated. So there is a lot of industries actually in India itself can get disrupted and can become efficient or cheaper the moment they start using crypto in whatever they are trying to do. But again,
right,
it all comes down to is it correct to use it, or am I like there is no such thing to say you can use it. There is no such thing to say you cannot use it, right? So it's and the very established players are little conservative and concerned to not use something which is not very clear on one side. And for the new ones, how many ever new ones, small ones, give it a try to take it forward. It will be insufficient of the volumes or revenues or any kind of numbers for it to bother something like a government, right? So for them to consider, okay, now this is going big in here in this particular industry is getting disrupted. It should be now we are more looking at regulate the crypto and Bitcoin or blockchain. So that thing has not very clearly happened yet in India. I think so. It's just taking time, but again, it's not dead. When everything, whatever I'm saying, everything continues to be alive to some extent, but not big enough for a government to look at.
right. Yeah, no, I understand where you're coming from. Again, I think everybody is very bullish on, India itself and the kind of opportunity it presents. Obviously, we are all waiting on our at the edge of our seats to see, how the outlook for and by India changes, because I think it'll dictate, quite a few other countries' behavior towards crypto as well. So it's a wait and watch game. So can you tell us a little about the security measures, because there is an evolving threat, right, in Web3 all the time. So how do you take care of the user aspect?
No, I mean, like lot of things we cannot even tell because it's
Right.
like
Agree.
it is counterproductive. But generally speaking, as much as possible, it could be exchanges or it could be users. They should start using cold storage and have as much less exposure to crypto as possible online. So, but on the other side, it's like a big expense for the companies also, and a major concern for the users as well to
Right.
not mess up anything in their systems which could really make it like compromise. When it comes to users, definitely they should not be clicking some random links. So there's so many people who deceive as if it's just about like they'll just ruin everything. And it's only getting tricky. So and the modus operandi, like how they operate and how much time they spend to mislead you, misguide you into clicking something is like only becoming more and more. And with these kind of artificial intelligence tools and all such coming, you may just be like talking to someone. It looks like that, but there may actually not be a person on the other side. They're just like making sure to get you deceived to click on some kind of link or accept something, or do some kind of UPI payments, or click some button or scan some QR codes, or it could be in like so many different ways. One of the very, very interesting thing that happened just to me last week was, so there is one another good YouTube channel where they do the podcast like a lot of you and like many others do. So one actor, faking as the owner of that particular channel, sends a message on WhatsApp or Telegram, and they set some time when that particular show should be happening, and they send a link to Zoom, like where they can just like join it and do the podcast. But literally, actually, that is not a Zoom link. It just says like generally whatever the particular Zoom link is, there is like one or two letters mistake or something. Like we usually see us02web.zoom.us. That's the kind of domain, right? So it's not the other way around. It was zoom.us02web.com. When people
Right.
look at it, definitely they will not see the difference. It's like so
Yeah.
challenging. So if you click on it, it actually asks you to download a new software, and you get a message saying that yes, because there is a new version from Zoom, so you have to just install it.
Hmm. And
Wow.
all of this seems very harmless, right? Because this
Yeah.
is something that you would do anyway, and then yeah, and lo and behold, everything's gone.
So yeah, it's so challenging, and I mean, we keep training our employees, and there is experts who talk to us. So we can be actually like very, very cautious, because I mean, you need to be cautious because of the business we are in and industry we are in. But when it comes to a normal man, it is like no way someone will be able to just escape these kinds of things. It's too tough, very, very tough. So it's very tricky, right? So yeah,
Hmm.
everyone should be very cautious, and there is no other way to do this. And they really know that we are at a crypto industry, and getting access to something in the mobile phone or something in the laptop, anything could actually like make a lot of mess and such. So yes, one thing at a time is like, apart from being cautious, there is nothing else we can do. No matter how many kind of warning emails you send to our own customers, to our employees, or to the industry people in general, how much ever you educate, one should just, when they're doing anything on the internet, understand that you already may be compromised, or you're just about to be compromised, and just be careful. That's all.
Mm. Yeah, I think you have to be very careful if you're dealing with crypto in any way. I
Yeah.
think that's important. Keep your guard up. I think those are important things to keep in mind. Then, do you guys have any plans for like creating an insurance, or are you have you partnered with any insurance companies for your users' benefit? Is this something that you are looking at?
See, I'll tell you like how the insurance as an industry works, right? So
Hmm.
then you know why it will not work for here, essentially. So for industry, I mean for insurance to work as well, it all is very purely numbers. If you talk about life insurance, they go to a challenging few numbers, like how many people will die in a particular year, how many old people will die, how many people die in an accident. Then what is the kind of premium they have to pay, what is the GST they have to pay. This is all like reverse working, and then there is some profits for those insurance companies, and then everyone will pay their premiums, right? So whatever it is, so it's all like it works in a specific, very, very specific manner, and some part of the money that they get, they'll be deploying as an investment also, so that there is some returns on the insurance money that someone is paying. Same thing works when it comes to the health insurance or any other insurance, even if you just do it for establishment insurance, or I mean, anything we can even think of, all simply works depending upon the numbers. But when it comes to the crypto industry, it becomes extremely super tricky. Okay? So why I'm saying that is just because if we say, okay, I'm trying to insure 100 Bitcoin that belong to my customer, and if there are like 4 or 5 players, right? So all of us, let's say, go for insurance. Let's talk about the premium. Okay? So on an average, if you see worldwide, we actually see any exchange or at least one exchange getting hacked in about a few countries each every year. So which means probably we may hear about some 10, 12, 15 hack reports across the world. And if you see the number of exchanges, for example, to be about 500 of them, so then we are talking about 3% of exchanges getting hacked every year. Okay, so and if you have about five exchanges who got insured in a country like India, and if you stretch it by about like 5 years or so, then at least there is one exchange which should get hacked according to statistics. So now what's interesting that will happen is if they get hacked, then if all of the 100 Bitcoin gets stolen away, then if you reverse calculate, so how much is the premium that they are supposed to, that the insurance company is supposed to get to support that kind of hack where they don't even know the price of Bitcoin in 5 years? It's become super tough. So I think the industry in India has to grow to such an extent where it also makes for an industry, I mean, for a insurance company to provide insurance within India. So today, right now, there is no map that is working. If some insurance company says, okay, if I'm insuring 100 Bitcoin for you, then I need a premium of about 8 crore rupees a year. Nowhere on earth we can support that kind of money from the customers' trading activities and such. So instead, it will be better off to just say for us, customers, we are allowing crypto withdrawals. Take it, please secure your Bitcoin. That makes it so easy for us as compared to going and actually like doing an insurance, which is absolutely unviable right now. Does it make sense?
Sure, yeah. But I was thinking more on the lines of, that there are platforms like CoinCover and Evertas. They do provide crypto insurance. Is that something that you guys have looked at, or do you think that the premium makes it, too prohibitive?
The premium makes it very prohibitive. That is one thing.
Hmm.
And the way they want the insurance to work, including they want to hold one set of keys out of your three keys, and all such things exist. So it makes very uncomfortable for us to part away any kind of control that the user has trusted with us as well on one side, right? So there are some companies, they want to give some insurances, that's right. But
Hmm.
if you say I want the insurance for the entire cold storage, everything is like it's not going to happen, right? So
Okay.
yeah, so there are again specific conditions in which the insurance can actually be covered if something goes wrong, but not if not, right? So for example, we work with a company called BitGo, then a part of that money is actually getting covered. But when we are literally holding hundreds of billions dollars worth of crypto, for example, for argument's sake, then the insurance that we get covered is very very insufficient for really a business. On the other side, for them, for a company like Bitco, how much money are they making from us? Maybe a few $1,000s a month. Could
Hmm.
so that is insufficient for them to take on a huge risk of hundreds of millions of dollars per customer for per company they are trying to work with. So it just
Right.
doesn't. So they'll say, okay, fine, I'll give a insurance of about $500,000. I mean, that is like absolutely insufficient. And when things go wrong, I have actually not seen any proper insurance claim which has got paid in a way, because there is so much of things that could go wrong, and it is so tough to know whether the conditions, whether it covers within the insurance terms or not, right? So who would a mistake? If it is a human mistake, then they don't pay. If it is a hacker mistake, they'll pay. And there is some human somewhere in between who would have done some kind of mistake in the past or in the present or in the process, or anything like that. Or if they say that, okay, that should be traced back to someone, so whoever it is, and there should be an attempt to get it back. So I mean, there are various things, but again, nothing is straightforward, concrete, where we can be like, okay, I have paid the insurance premium, then I can definitely have the peace of mind, because if something goes wrong, the insurance company pays. That doesn't exist anywhere in the world yet,
Hmm.
right? So it's kind of growing. It will go towards that. It should be like more and more people, could be say hundreds of exchanges in every country, all of them having good volume. So then it's all start making sense. Okay, this is something that is, and obviously exchange should also be like very cautious of like how much money they lose if something goes wrong. If it is like, for example, what WazirX happened, it will shit scare any insurance
Hmm.
company anywhere, right?
Yeah, that's true.
One mistake to $30 million, like where will they bring that kind of money? Impossible.
Yeah, yeah. No, you're right. I think that is a very good way to sort of explain this, because I think a lot of users have come to me and asked us this as well, that, why do these centralized platforms not allow for insurance. And I think this particular explanation would do a good job because, even I tried explaining it in a similar fashion like you did. But I think you've put in a more convincing argument here. So, yeah, thank you for sort of sharing that. Now let's talk a little about, just the demographics and of the users. What kind of strategies are you like dealing with institutional investors as well? Is this something that you're doing, and are there any different kind of concerns that they have as against the normal regular retail investors?
Not really. There are some institutions who are like private limited companies and such who actually do buy Bitcoin from us as a part of the balance sheet. But again, it will come down to how big of the company it is and how much volume they are trying to buy, right? So it is insufficient. It's insignificant. There could be some companies, okay, they have done profit of about 3 crore rupees or 5 crore rupees last year, and they just want to buy one Bitcoin. So is it like worthy thinking that institutions are coming in? I don't think, right? So it is a very, very small. But again,
Okay.
has it improved? Yes. This was not happening 5 years ago. It's happening now. And there are also some. I mean, if there is already big companies, if you're talking about big institutions, most of them also have their branch offices or holding companies or anything outside the country. And given the unclarity, the clarity doesn't exist within India, they'd be better off to just buy it in any other entity name outside the country and have to deal with comparatively clearer regulations and taxations as compared to try to do it here, right? So it's right now it's unwanted provoke if there is a successful company, say for example, randomly Infosys or someone, they just want to buy those
Hmm.
arguments. Will they do it in India? Or they do it in US because they also trade their equity in US also gets traded. So
Yeah.
yeah, they will take their decisions of like how it is more friendlier. And why do they want to promote something like crypto or Bitcoin in India by taking it? Because that will be public information when there is no clear things yet. And can they still convince their own shareholders that why they did whatever they did? So it'll all come down to that, I guess. So definitely not like we don't have companies like MicroStrategy or anything like that in India yet. Not like the Tesla or anyone who will put thousands of Bitcoin on their balance sheet also yet. It could
Hmm.
probably happen maybe in a few years. Slowly, it's going towards it. There is some activities, some volume, some companies which are buying it, which is good, but nothing noteworthy.
Right. Okay. Nothing that will actually make you to take different steps and perhaps address their specific needs.
See,
I get it.
if any of yeah, if any of them was noteworthy, if any of them was significant, it would definitely come to the purview of our governments, and there'll be some kind of reaction by them at least that year or the next year that okay, now I write regulations for this, give a clarity and taxation because now even biggers are doing it, right? So when they're not doing it yet, it is just the retail mostly, so they're less concerned. Mhm.
Okay, I get that. So, can you tell us a little about the investors that are there on your platform? Like in general, the demographic, is it more males versus females, the age bracket, which state are they usually from, if that is the kind of data that you can share with us?
Yeah, so say till 2020, it was when it comes to genders, it was extremely skewed. We were almost like 90-10 to male to female. But now at least
Hmm.
new users, if I see, it's more like 75-25 at least. So there is more females which were actually like putting some efforts to do some investment and such. And there's a lot of employees who actually have signed up with us from employees of various other companies, and they do something called SIP, systematic investment plan kind of thing. So where they just buy a small amount of Bitcoin, like worth 5,000 rupees or so per month, every month without fail, irrespective of the price of Bitcoin, and average it. So we started that SIP for our customers in India since 2014. So it's actually the SIP program is running since 11 years. So due to which obviously 99 more than 99% of the people who ever subscribe for it at any point of time on profit already. So and then there it comes to merchants, we don't have so much of activity really. There was some, there were a few hundreds of merchants in 2018 to 17, 18 who have signed up. But once the banking issue and those things happened, whoever actually stopped bothering about this, I don't think they again are bothered to enter this space and accept Bitcoin as a mode of payment and such. Right now, it's like a little bit challenging. When it comes to
Hmm.
educational background, we actually see good amount of bachelors or above in education. So it accounts to about 55 to 60% of our customers at various times, etc. When it comes to income slabs and such, if I take off the top 10% who are like very, very elite, so the rest, if I start comparing, so more than half of them is kind of falls under an income range about 12 lakh rupees an annum.
Okay.
So it's and when it comes to the cities, we actually see Delhi and Mumbai and Bangalore, and in Ahmedabad we see Gujarat as well. So have and Surat to some extent sometimes. So have like comparatively more number of customers who sign up from these kinds of places as compared to tier two.
Okay.
Mm.
And how do you sort of perceive the current state of the Indian crypto market because of the taxation that you've kind of talked about? Do you think that users are more savvy users are actually staying put, or do you think they are finding ways to perhaps trade in, by using sometimes loopholes with futures and options? What is your perception here of these users and how their behavior has changed post this taxation?
For someone who is just looking at making some money, they actually bother less about taxation because at the end of the year, whatever is here kind of thing. So a lot of them just buy crypto within India from the platforms and then withdraw it to some kind of foreign exchanges also. So we have seen some cases like that from a lot of other exchanges as well in the past. But when once they withdraw it to their own wallet, we will not know where they're sending it, what they're trying, etc. So we collect that information of where they're trying to withdraw, right? So, but once it goes to their private wallet, then we don't know, right? So they can set it to wherever they want and such. And a lot of people believe that if they're trading on international exchanges, then the taxation is not even applicable to them, which is totally wrong. As long as their tax residents in India, they will have to pay the taxes. But how you calculate I mean, like what is the equivalent, what percentage, and all of such is the next question. But they definitely are liable to pay the crypto taxes, including TDS.
Right.
So, and there are some exchanges which do not conduct TDS, being them being the international exchanges. So, which makes it like super lucrative for Indians to just go and trade. So, which is actually not creating a level field, but on the other side, it is like not following the taxation policies, right? So, that is one another thing that we actually see. But given our platform is more meant for medium term and long term investors than someone who would want to trade like multiple times a day or multiple times a week. We actually see people who just like buy it and hold it for some time. And now that we
Hmm.
allow people to create even things like paper wallets, etc., as well for their own cold storage purposes, and we give enough education of how they can just use some hardware wallets, etc., as well. So there are more of them as well. Given that our survival, our existence since 12 years, there are so many people who used to buy dozens of Bitcoin in the initial days when it was like 5,000, 10,000, 20,000. So yeah, all of that combined, it's just like a extremely wide spectrum of
Hmm.
how we have seen things and how things have progressed so far. I think so. Yeah, whatever taxation is, whatever taxation is. So some people come into the purview, or some people honestly do the payment, and some people just leave it saying that okay, when it happens, don't care about it. Such. So, and many also plan to leave India or would have already left India, and so it's tricky. It's not clear, straightforward, simple yet. So that makes it a little sad.
Hmm. That's true. It does make it a little sad, but like you said, it is a little tricky as well. So,
Hmm.
this has been such a good conversation. I completely lost track of time, and I think I just have time for two more questions before I wrap this up, and even then we will go perhaps a little beyond time. But I would want to definitely know from you, like, what is the one trend in the Web3 crypto space right now that is very exciting to you, and you feel that it's going to stand the test of time?
I think the real world assets tokenization, it makes
Right.
a lot of sense to me, given the so much of trickiness that already exists for any kind of buying and transfer of real world asset like real estate.
Yeah.
Wow, it's like the nightmare, and I'm so glad most of them just do it once or twice in their lifetime. But if I
Yeah.
do it more frequently, oh my God, it's the
It's a
kind.
hassle like no other. Yeah.
Yeah, it literally takes away your time and peace of mind and every little thing. There are so many officers who will just scare you saying like whatever you did is like total mistake. Like
Exactly.
all the
There'll
life
be
or
too many people who will scare you. Yeah, yeah, that is so true.
so because again there is like a lot of loopholes in the system of how they can use it, and on the other side we are trying to go from imperfect records era to perfecting the records, and even though you may be perfecting the records today, whatever has existed 20 years ago, 50 years ago 100 years ago. And if there are some imperfections, it has to, I mean, it will be tied to that real asset or real estate property for next 100 years also. It cannot get clean at all. So I think if it goes towards this kind of tokenization and such, the ownership will become like extremely clean. We definitely are already capable of writing smart contracts of how it should go from one generation to next generation, or how it should be split in any particular way, or like whatever it should happen. So those can be like very, very well programmed as well. And because the tokenization, the fractionalization exists, there is more investors who could actually participate, right? So a lot of people even today think like if they don't buy Bitcoin because they have to buy one Bitcoin, right? So
Right, yeah.
say, I mean, when it comes to the anything like real asset or real estate related thing where just like tokenization, everything is possible, right? So yes, they can participate with 10,000 rupees or 1 lakh rupees as well. Or else the only thing a lot of people will do is okay, they'll start putting the money into fixed deposit maybe for about 10 years, whatever the savings that they're,
Hmm.
which just makes it sufficient to buy a house where they can do the down payment using that particular savings money, and then continue their work and lifestyle and pay the rest of the mortgage over next 20 years, and be done with it. So but they don't get exposed to any other investment opportunities, nothing else at all. So for them, I think this is like how fiat actually had a industry or a technology or a method that can question it to see like where things have gone wrong and how it should be fixed and so on. I think something like that is possible for the industry like real estate as well. And real estate is such a, if you see the capitalization of the industry, right? So apart from say if you take away the futures and options and such, where it exists because of a multiplier, right? So
Hmm.
then you actually have the normal equity, commodities, and real estate only before even the fiat and everything comes in. I think so. It's like compared to a very very huge asset, and people work their life off. To just make some asset for themselves and for the next generation, and that being now to such scary thing, I think it is definitely due for disruption, I think. And this is a good thing, the blockchain related or tokenization related thing, if it can happen.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that is
Hmm.
again a lot to chew on, I think, and very insightful. So now, coming to the last question that I have, and this is something that again I'd be remiss if I did not ask you. This is something that I actually ask everybody who comes on the show. I would love to get suggestions from you for builders who are perhaps starting up in crypto right now, as well as for the users. What would be your suggestions to both of these category of people so that they can truly start living on blockchain?
See, I think the people who want to get into crypto industry and actually deliver some value to it should definitely not do it just because there is money in crypto. They should do it with the passion that they want to help the industry. They want to be a part of the. I mean, money will come. It's like any other startup, any other business. They should not see the crypto related industry as a fast money making or a easier way to cheat someone, right? So and that only makes crypto industry bad over a period, more and more period of it. So even though if one
Right.
so yes, they have to develop that kind of skill set. It takes its time. It's already a very competitive market. As we speak, if we just can like combine all the different tokens available on all the different blockchains at the contract address level, we are talking about 60 million plus tokens already. So
Hmm.
and out of that, probably not even like a thousand are good or even alive to really say. So one should be, one should not take this industry for granted and try to do anything like really stupid and silly. And if you do extremely small, anyway, you might get some money. That's one part of it. But if you try to do it big and if you do any mistake, then you'll be scared for rest of the life. That is definitely not something one should actually look forward to. I think so. Yeah, being passionate and working in this industry definitely gives a lot of benefit and exposure, and it is global in nature. It is so easy to move any project from one country to one country, literally, right? So as compared to any other industry where it's like compared like so super tough, and irrespective of where you are, you will instantly be able to serve the global, right? So that's another advantage that exists when to the Web3. So yeah, it's a competitive market. The passion and ability to commit long term, I think, is kind of
Hmm.
mandatory to actually do something.
I think that's very good advice and a very good way to wrap up this episode. Play the long-term game. I think this is something that a lot of builders who've been around for a while, they'll say the same thing, that in short term, you might be able to, earn a few bucks, but it's not going to be very sustainable. And if you are going to build something, then build sustainable solutions, be there for the long-term game. There's going to be a grind, but it'll be worth it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think, as I said earlier, this is a wonderful way to wrap up this conversation. Thank you so much once again for making the time to speak to me today.
Sure.
Any last thoughts before we wrap this up?
No, I think you covered questions very well, I guess. Almost everything. Sure.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much once again.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.